Greetings, garage trolls. Where are we? Well, we've done stuff with the lathe. Now there hasn't been a lot in terms of physical maintenance, but we've done some tidying of things, mostly cleaning and things like that. There's other things I've done as well. Well, not done. There's other things I've discovered. So I want to look at something first, which is non-mechanical, and then we'll get on to the actual lathe. So that's my doorbell. There we go. That'll be something that I need, but there you go. Right, so if I go over to here and we go there on my little handheld camera. This is on the handheld camera as well, even though I'm talking to this camera. This is a panel PC that I have had for quite a long time. It was a project that a company commissioned and then forgot about, and blah, and it lay in my attic and so on and so forth. If we do this, we'll see it's Windows XP. Now, that's all very well and good. We'll try and straighten it up a wee bit there. There we go. There we go. Now, that in and of itself, if I go back and if we look at the age of the lathe, now the lathe there, the date of the ROMs and the software and everything like that is 1995. The software is DOS software. Okay. Now, I might have a copy of DOS, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm running it in a DOS window under XP, and it runs perfectly well. Runs absolutely brilliantly. So if I come, I'll move that out of the way that you can't see. If I come back, there's the software running perfectly well there. Now, you will see there's a black bar around the screen there. So the software isn't being scaled correctly. So that's the first problem. The second problem is, while this is a touch screen, it's not correctly calibrated to the scaled screen. So you've got an offset all the way around of whatever the bar is, so you effectively can't use the touch screen. I probably can find a way to get the program to run properly, and I can probably find a way to maybe load a DOS mouse driver. But that's in the long finger, that's in the long term. For now, what we have here is a mid-2000s laptop. And it runs perfectly well on this and the keyboard and all, and my trackball and everything. That'll do for now until we can sort out the touchscreen, if we even do ever sort out the touchscreen. So we're running on this for now, and it runs perfectly well. Okay, so if I come round to the lathe itself, you'll see that it is slightly cleaner. Now I'll put this camera down and I'll bring another one round. There. And there we go. All of this, there's the bed, the cross slide, the tool post. I'll show you the chuck in a moment. There's the two chucks obviously. There's the tailstock chuck and there's the main chuck. But all of this has cleaned up beautifully, absolutely beautifully. Getting rid of all the rust on this now means that the bed moves beautifully smoothly. And it's not getting stuck and it's not grunching or anything like that. Everything is working wonderfully. And it's also returning all the figures back to the laptop and everything like that as well. So the whole thing, there's the X. This is a weird thing about these. My CNC router is the same. X is that way. To me, in my brain, from coordinates and graphs and things, X should be that way. But that's Z, and to me, Z is the up and down. So and we don't have a Y-axis here. But anyway, that's just me being grumpy. Anyway, this cleaned up beautifully. It cleaned up very easily, actually, with just a Scotch-Brite pad and WD-40. And there was maybe a slightly rustier bit there and there. The darker patches are where it was slightly rustier, and but they're perfectly smooth. You can't feel anything under your fingers or anything like that. And the whole thing is moving beautifully as well. And if I, oh, wrong way. Even this is running nice and smoothly now. So everything is going, my brakes and everything works. So that's all good. There is, I'll go back to this camera here now. This piece here, now what this is this is what the micro switch, okay, if I put that down there, let's see if you can see here. Well, I'll use my handheld camera. Okay, we'll go around here. There, that's a micro switch there. In order for the machine to know where it is, it needs a known point for your Z and your X. So this micro switch here is for the Z, and there's another one there for the X. That one comes this way and hits the bed. Well, it hits this little block here. This one goes that way, and that rod that you see, if I bring the rod in, this rod should sit there. And basically what has happened is the threads, if I bring it out so it's got some light, the threads on the end of the rod are stripped. That's fine, not a problem at all. What I'll do is I will cut those threads off, drill a hole and tap a bolt into it and cut the head off the bolt. Then I have threads. The only thing is that the threads on the back of the lathe and the original threads there are UNF Imperial, which is why I've actually, what was being delivered there now was a set of UNF taps. So that will enable me to do that. And what I can actually do is I can cut that off, and I can drill down the centre with my lathe. Woohoo! The only other thing, I'm in the process of cleaning the chuck out. Again, this was all covered in rust. That was the bottom, which is very clean, and that was the top, which is more rusty. Again, it's cosmetic. There's no problem at all. The chuck itself is working perfectly. What I need to do now is get the I don't know what you call them, clamps, these bits out. We loosen this off and they'll come out and detach, so I can clean that face and give these a clean up as well. So that's where we are now. I'm going to go ahead. You don't want to watch me cleaning, because all I'm doing is rubbing. Forget it. That's it. WD-40 Scotch-Brite pad, and that's it. There's no magic in it. There's no science in it or anything like that, and it cleans up perfectly well. You don't want to see me do that. I'll show you the end result. So give me a moment for now, and we'll talk to you later. Hello again. It's actually a few days longer than I had hoped since the last video, which you haven't seen yet because this is the end of that episode. We've had absolutely horrendous weather. We had torrential rain yesterday, and literally there were rivers running down the street, deep rivers. The garage got a bit wet because it comes in under the garage door there. But anyway, we're alive. We'll carry on. We'll push through. So this recording now is really just a summary of what I've done since the last video, and I actually haven't done that much, but it looks like a lot more. So I'll take my little handheld camera and I'll give you a walk round, and that'll finish off this episode. So bear with me. Okay, so now you really haven't seen a terrible lot in here. I'm going to shut my wee legs down here so as I can get in closer. Normally this is actually screwed shut and you don't see in here, and I'm at the stage now it can be screwed back shut again. I've done all the repairs that were required in here. If we go up to the actual electronics, which are up here, this is the meter that shows the current that the motor is drawing. These are the direction switches for your X and your Z. That's the emergency stop button. That's the door interlock disable, and that's the on-off switch. Now all I've really done is I've used a lot of I tried IPA first, and then I had to use deoxit on the switches to get them nice and clean and operating cleanly. So that's been done up there. There's been a bit of tidying of wiring. Other than that, there we go. Down here, this junction block here connects all the wiring from the back. You can see it going in there to all the wiring on the front. Why they didn't take it direct, I'm not entirely sure, but there you go. So that's a junction block. It's exciting, woo. This is the motor. It is a 1.97 kilowatt motor, 2 kilowatts, which is quite a lot really. This is the headstock, and these are the headstock bearings. These have now been greased. That one was okay, this one was quite dry. That's the stepper motor for the Z drive, the Z lead screw, which is inside there. and that's all that's in there. So I'm just going to close this down here. There we go. Everything has been given a bit of a cosmetic clean. Now it's not spotless, but it's much better than it was. There was a lot of just fingerprints and general yick all over the thing. So if we go in here, you'll see that the lathe is a lot more complete than it was, and that's because it's a lot more complete than it was. I have finished cleaning the chuck, and if we turn it around there, it actually looks superb. The other side's a bit, it's a bit more stained, but it's fine. Everything is working perfectly. I have reassembled the tool post. This tool I actually got with the lathe, and we're just using that for now. It's a good sharp tool. It's actually for facing, so but it's good for testing, right? The tailstock required a fair bit of adjustment, actually. Well, not adjustment, it had been assembled incorrectly. Now, if we can get in round behind here, okay, can you see that? This is the tailstock clamp lever here. Now, that is held on by this metal block here, and there's a screw in the metal block so as you can adjust this clamp. That was all out of adjustment. Also, the jib under here, which you can't see, was very, very loose. So when you knocked off the clamp, the whole thing actually moved about. Now it slides wonderfully. There's no free play in it at all. I'm very, very pleased. Can't remember whether I had told you this was put back on, but it's back on. That's the end stop for the Z-axis, so that it knows where it is. There's a wee switch. I'll turn my camera around. There's a wee switch there which that acts on. So the lathe itself is now complete, and the other thing I can announce is everything is working. Everything is working as expected. I've worked out how you datum the axes, and how basically what you do, that end stop and the end stop here, which is there, is a known point for the lathe, and then what you do is you zero off on the workpiece. So if you have to leave it overnight, it'll go back to its datum, come back and say, I know where I am. And everything is working. We've also, I haven't got the software running here, but if we so go in here, you'll not be able to see that very well, but the software is now running, and we've got the maybe see that a bit better now. You're seeing a reflection from the lights. The software is running. We've pretty much sussed out all that the software does as well, so that's all good as well. So now we're at the stage. Oh, sorry, just another thing. My tailstock, I have the down there. I have the chuck for boring or drilling, and I have a live center in there as well, just two MT2 tapers, I think they are. So we have that as well, and the next thing basically we need to work out is how it all works. I have a fair idea how it all works, but you know, obviously I'm not a machinist. I've never been a machinist. I did a course once which had a little bit of machining in it, but it was only a tiny bit. Anything I know is theoretical. So I need to learn how to do this in a practical environment, and also learn coming from a background of having never done it the old-fashioned manual way with lead screws, you know, and turning wheels and things. I'll go back to my main camera now, so bear with me a moment. So really my next, what I'll be doing next is learning how the machine works. I've learnt enough to know that physically it all works, and that the software tells the machine what to do and the machine doing it correctly, and also the machine is reporting back to the software with axes, positions, and RPM of spindles and things like that. I know all the interaction between the two works. What I have to do now is work out how we get a profile from inside my head or somebody else's head to inside that machine, that we can turn it. I know there is an NC or a CNC generator in the machine, and I've actually been able to work out, yes, you can put that shape in and you can tell that it's that size, and it will generate code. It will also read DXF files, but what I need to know is how much information is required in those DXF files. But we'll get there. We've got a manual. There's a couple of things in the manual that differ to real life, but that's only to be expected. I know that the version of the software I'm using and the version of the software that the manual was written for are slightly different, but that's not the end of the world. We'll cope with that. So I'm going to leave it for now. I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy with the way the lathe is cleaned up. Mechanically, I really, apart from the rust and the bit of staining because of the rust, mechanically it couldn't be better. I have had to do very, very little adjustment. I haven't had to do anything on the jibs for the lead screws for the X and the Z axis. There's no play in those at all. I fixed the play that there was in the tail post. As far as I can see without actually getting micrometers out, the headstock is perfectly square, but that's what we'll be doing as part of our learning about the machine. We'll be checking things like that. So I'm very pleased. It's a Saturday night. I'm going to say cheerio for now. I'll edit this video tomorrow and hopefully get that to you tomorrow, and then it'll be a matter of me playing with the lathe, weather permitting. So bye for now, and I'm away off for a carry out and a beer. Bye bye.